Okay, so many people don't fully understand the additional processing load that neurodivergent brains are having to manage. And this is really important to understand because of the domino effect that it can create. Now, typically, neurodivergent brains are taking in much more information from their environment, more sensory information, more emotional cues, more intrusive thoughts to manage. And this additional information that they're processing can be great for noticing details, remembering information, spotting patterns, thinking creatively, because they have a great deal more to draw on. But it can also be overwhelming, and it requires effort because they are having to process all of this information in their prefrontal cortex, work out what information they need in that moment or the next in order to manage life efficiently. So before any learning can begin for a neurodivergent child, we need to understand that the neurodivergent brain is already working much, much harder at processing all of this additional information compared to a neurotypical brain, which isn't necessarily processing as much information from moment to moment. So the cognitive load which neurodivergent brains are managing is typically much higher, and this creates fatigue. It can create overwhelm if it's not managed, and that can have a knock-on effect to making it much more difficult to regulate their nervous system. So everything that we see in neurodivergent coping strategies to manage this additional processing load is connected. And one thing leads to another, such as overwhelm, eventually meltdown or shutdown. And it's a domino effect, which starts with this additional processing load in the prefrontal cortex. Now, we can only short circuit this if we know and understand the reality of that additional cognitive load that neurodivergent brains are having to manage. Just having this level of awareness can allow parents to take a step back and recognize that they are not necessarily just acting out, they are overwhelmed because of what's going on in their brain. Now, my specialist guide, Supporting Young Neurodivergent Minds, provides practical insight into exactly this. And I'll leave a copy here for you in the link to this video. And you'll find that in about 15 minutes, this is what it takes to read through this guide. You'll have a much better understanding of how to support confidence, resilience, regulation, and more. And for daily pockets of expertise on all things neurodivergence, do follow along, and you can be part of our community, which is working to change the narrative for neurodivergent minds from what's wrong to what's very much possible. So I'll see you there.